Hi everyone, this is Yana and welcome back to my channel. Today I'd like to invite you to create easy felt Easter egg cozies for your Easter table decor. I will be using special dies to create my egg cozies today. Here I have a plush egg die from Simon Says Stamp. This is a special die. It not only cuts a shape outline, but also little holes, and it cuts the actual holes out to make it very easy to stitch the die cuts together. So it doesn't pierce the holes, but cuts actual small openings for the thread to go through. This makes it very easy to stitch the die cut pieces together. There are a few dies like this that allow you to create a variety of projects. Here I have two utensil holders in the shape of an Easter egg that I created with the help of this die plus a few additional dies. I'm going to insert a paintbrush so you can see how it works. There's an opening at the top and an opening at the bottom for the utensils to go through, but it is stitched on the sides. And there's also a pocket on the front to hold a little treat or a place card. Super fun and honestly very easy to make. These pre-cut holes makes stitching a very quick and simple task. So today I'll be showing you how to use the Easter egg dies to create Easter egg cozies. These look fabulous on an Easter table and work as beautiful little decoration items. I made quite a few here already, and these are rather simple to make. Each doesn't take more than 20 to 30 minutes from start to finish. You want to start by die cutting two pieces of felt using the plush Easter egg die. I'm cutting partial pieces here. I don't need the entire egg shape for this project, so to save felt, I'm only cutting about half of an egg, a top half. And you'll need two pieces, a front and a back for your Easter egg cozy. So here I have one. It cut the egg outline and also the little holes for stitching. You do need to clean up your die in between cutting to get rid of any of the tiny pieces that are stuck inside the holes. And I like to use my tool-in-one from Spellbinders for that, the brush end. I just brush the die from the other side and the negative pieces fall out. This is a little faster than using a poking tool and poking each one of the holes separately. So I'm going to cut another piece for the back of my cozy, and I also need to create additional elements to dress up my project. I have bunny ears from another plush die set, and I'll be cutting these and also a little heart from dark purple, light purple, and white felt. I'll be needing one heart, two white bunny ear pieces, and four dark purple bunny ear pieces for my project. I'm also cutting a scalloped handle from the plush springtime basket set, and I'm cutting this out of white felt. I'll be cutting it into two pieces using my scissors, and I'll use it as a little border on my cozy. I've made sure it's long enough to cover the width of my project. I'll only be adding that to the front part, although you can add it to the front and back if you want. The felt that I'm using today is from my stash, and I've had it for many years. I don't remember the brand. However, when you're looking to get felt for a project like this, you want to make sure you're not getting the thinnest one out there. But don't get felt that it's too thick either. Something in between, I would say. And if you have trouble cutting your felt, I also like to use a sheet of printer paper. This usually helps with the smallest pieces. So I would have my cutting plate, a sheet of printer paper, my felt, then my die on top, and another cutting plate on top of that. But I didn't have any trouble cutting when I was making this project today, so it just depends. Now that we have our elements cut and ready to go, we can start putting our cozy together. I've grouped the pieces the way they are supposed to go, and I'm just using my Fiskars fabric scissors to trim the scalloped border element. I like using these particular scissors because they are made for fabric specifically, and these are also long scissors, which makes it easier to have a straight cut as opposed to using my Tim Holtz scissors, which I use for everything else. Now I'm not going to stitch everything here. I'm going to use glue to adhere a few elements down, like the white bunny ear inserts. I'm using my Glossy Accents glue to adhere those onto the dark purple ears, and I'm also going to adhere the white border and the little die cut heart, but I'll do that later after I've stitched everything together. I'm sure there's a special fabric glue out there, but because I'm mostly a paper crafter, I don't have any glue that is designed for fabric, so I'm using what I have on hand, and Glossy Accents seems to hold everything nicely. I'm going to use a blanket stitch to sew my pieces and create the cozy. Please note I'm leaving quite a bit of thread at the start here. I'll use it to tie a double knot later when I go around this element and bring my thread to the start again. I'm not a big fan of hand stitching, and I rarely hand stitch, but I found it to be quite addictive and truly very easy to do here, in this particular case, due to the pre-cut holes, so I was enjoying stitching these elements together. Now, because the holes are rather large, you want to use a thick thread for stitching, and because they are spaced quite far apart from each other, the stitching is not going to take a lot of time. So I've stitched the main part, the halves of the eggs, together. I also finished the stitch at the start because it was an incomplete one, and then I used my scissors to trim the bottom part of my cozy to make sure the felt on the front and back is aligned. Now I can go ahead and adhere the scalloped border using glue. I will be stitching it in place later, but I want it to be adhered as well. I am not trimming the ends of my thread here. I'll be using the same thread to keep stitching the border, and I'll bring it to the point where I started my stitching. So I will meet it with the other end and will tie into a double knot to secure it. While the glue on my border is drying, I'm going to stitch the bunny ears the same way I stitched the body of my cozy. When I'm done stitching, I'll bring the ends of the thread to the front and will tie them into a little decorative bow. The ear itself will be adhered onto the body of the cozy, although you can also sew it in place. I adhered the ears on some of my cozies and also stitched them on the other cozies. It doesn't really matter. Both ways work just fine. I'm going to go back to my scalloped border and stitch it in place as well. Again, I'm using the same blanket stitch here. Now, there aren't any die-cut holes on the bottom part of my cozy, but there are holes on the border, so it's still rather easy to stitch the two elements together. So once I'm done, I'm going to bring the ends of the thread together and will tie into a double knot to secure the thread in place. I'm using a tiny heart to decorate my cozy. I'm adding a simple bow and using the same white thread and going to adhere it down onto the cozy itself. So basically, I'm making a little Easter bunny out of an egg shape simply by adding ears. I think these look too cute and so very adorable. I'm also going to use glue to secure the bows and knots that I have here, just so that they stay nice and tight and don't come undone. And this finishes my today's project. Super simple Easter egg cozies. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. The supplies I used to create it are listed on my blog and also in the video description. Thanks so much for stopping by today. I'll see you next time. Bye!